Hey family friends, I'm here today with Gina. Gina is a really close personal friend of mine and also a phenomenal real estate agent in Washington State, King County, Pierce, Snohomish. But we're going to talk about your market, Gina. So first off, Gina, how are you?
Taras, I'm doing great, fantastic. First of all, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a little nervous, but I will do my best.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation
Yeah.
with you. I'm going to bring a lot of value for the audience.
Yeah, and that's the whole goal, right? Because you've been doing real estate for quite some time now. You help you help a lot of families. And just the fact that you have that knowledge base and experience, I like to bring experienced people onto my podcast because there's a ton of noise. There's a lot of noise in today's market when it comes to people saying right now is a bad time to buy, or this is what's happening in this market, or this is what's going on a macro scale. We're in Washington State. We're in King, Pierce, and Snohomish County. Our state itself is like a unique market, right? We're in our own little bubble versus all of the U.S., right? Like what's going on here versus what's going on in Texas, or what's going on here versus what's going on in Nevada, completely different, right? So, Gina, first off, you've been in real estate for a while. What brought you into real estate? Like, how did real estate come to mind before you started? Like, how did you get into the business?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I knew you're going to ask it, and I actually thought about it, honestly, just by an accident. Frankly speaking, I was so ambitious, and I didn't know where to go. And what I really like about real estate, of course, I was quite a bit naive, like most of, you don't know simply what to expect.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I want to do, but I want to be very honest. I knew I want to do something that's going to impact other people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's something that's going to be meaningful. And I thought real estate going to be so great because honestly, the bigger rewards for me, it's when you give someone key and those families going to spend New Year, Christmas Eve in those houses.
Yeah.
And it's priceless.
Yeah.
I didn't think that deep, but I thought, well, I want to try. And I really like that real estate don't have a ceiling. I'm so happy that I make such a decision many years ago and face the fear of unknowing. But sometimes I think this profession was built for me. I was born to be a real estate agent. I don't wish any other career. This is,
so it was a blessing by accident.
By accident. Honestly, I went for a yoga retreat, and I met a friend there. Not even a friend.
Where in yoga retreat specifically?
I don't remember exactly the place. It was like probably an hour away from Seattle. And there was a girl retreat.
So here locally. It was here
locally. And I met some girl, and we spent some time with girls, and she told me, Gina, have you ever considered to be a real estate agent? And those times I was all over the places. I didn't know what to do, but I know I want to do something. And I was very driving, and I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to do something big, and I want to find a shortcut. And she told, have you ever considered to be a real estate agent? So I'm like, no, but I think it's great. You meet new people, you look nice, you smell nice, you just, it's great. I were thinking, oh, such a big deal to open the door. Obviously it's not how it's work, but that's how it's happened. I didn't have any friends, anyone who would encourage me. I didn't know anyone who I can consult with. And a lot of people, frankly speaking, doubt me a lot. And I think that's what drive me to the on the long run.
Okay. So you had a little bit of drive on the long run from the doubters, the haters. And then on top of that, the fact that you didn't know too many people, right? That also gave you drive and motivation when it came to, hey, I want to help in this market, do what I can, cultivate a lot of relationships. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Thank you. And furthermore, to being an immigrant, who came here was not much, and I didn't know what to expect.
When did you come here?
I came here in 2015 from Ukraine. I was born and raised there. I came here with culture exchanging program. And after a transition, I used to work for a travel agency. I helped people obtain visas. And after, unfortunately, they closed an embassy in Seattle, and I was already in transition in business. And just happened like that. I never saw myself working a regular job. And by regular job, I mean 8 to 5, or something like that. In real estate, we work more than that, for sure.
Yes, we do.
But I like the idea that I'm my own boss and I can lead. And this is something that I definitely have. And I think with my rebellion, let's put this way, personality, I just couldn't settle. Just couldn't settle for less. Just very driving and just And I thought, okay, this is an environment where I want to be. sales, aggressive, and people with the same mindset.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the community. I think it's, people who surrounded me, and just blessed.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I love it. Everyone who is in sales, everyone, especially in real estate. And the fact that we change other people's life.
Yeah.
That's how I see our career.
Yeah, and real estate's a tough business to be in, because people may have the assumption that, hey, if we're in real estate and it's a very easy job, this is no. You have contracts. So when you say sales, it's what, for the viewers that don't know, the number one job for a realtor is to negotiate for you on your behalf with the other listing agent. If you're a buyer, and the alternative is also true, if you're selling a home, you're a listing agent, you have to negotiate like a shark with the other buyer's agent, right? So you have to be able to negotiate. You got to know what you're doing. You have to know your contracts. You have to know your numbers, and being able to negotiate, I want to say at peak performance level like yourself, you save your clients a ton of money. You save them money. You help your sellers make money. That's a big, big, big factor when it comes to buying and selling real estate.
There's so many things that we learn in real estate, and it's quite complicated.
Yeah. So talk to me about your specific market, because I know your office is in Bellevue, but where do you primarily work?
I work in King County, Snohomish, and Pierce County as well.
Okay. So King County, Snohomish, Pierce, but primarily King, I'm assuming?
Yes. And I would like to say that I licensed to work in all of Washington State. So, yeah.
Very cool.
But primary, yes. You are
okay.
Right.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Very good. So you work in King County, and King County is a competitive market. I mean, there's a lot.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that, in business. There's a lot of people in real estate. There's also, I want to say, a ton of opportunity when it comes to helping investors and finding homes and doing acquisition type of deals when it comes to flips and stuff like that, which is fantastic. I work primarily in King County, Pierce, Snohomish, all over. I'm also licensed in all 50 states, so I'll do loans like for clients that say, hey, I want to get a vacation home in Texas, or I'm thinking about moving to North or South Carolina. Like I'll go out and I'll help them out. I'll do those loans, but of course, primarily I'm here in the state of Washington, and it's a great market. Washington State is a unique market in itself. In the last week to 2 weeks, I've personally seen it. I know you've experienced this too, a massive transition when it comes to from a buyer's to seller's market.
Dramatic.
So talk to me about what you're seeing in today's market. Talk to me about what you're seeing in the market when it comes to buyers versus sellers, and what we saw even a month ago.
So a month ago, it was pretty much buyer's market when people can negotiate, renegotiate, waive the inspection contingency, ask for a lot of credits. Now it's changed. Now it's, if you're talking about a King County, there are multiple offers, 5, 9 offers for a house in Kirkland, and we come back to the seller market. And now we're in a position when we again need to compete. We need to be extremely aggressive. We need to write a strong offer. And of course, the person who's going to represent you in such a market need to be a very, have a very good skills as far as negotiation skills and many others, how to structure the contract right way. And at the same time, when the buyer going to have a significant value on the long run, right? Because to buy a house, it's a big decision, of course. You're not going to make it over time. But right now, there's, you need to be more aggressive when you're placing an offer. Otherwise, you can miss an opportunity, unfortunately, and you're going to go for the next house, and more likely it's going to be the same result if you're not going to change anything. So if you're going to do exactly the same things, you're going to get exactly the same result. So to be one step ahead, you need to work completely different way. You need to be one step ahead than anybody else. If you consider to buy the property in not only in a King County, like in a Washington State, you need to prepare. You need to think for a couple steps up front, right? And that's what's going to separate you from many other buyers. So because opportunities come and go. Sometimes it's such a short window to make a decision, and we need to act, and we need to act fast. If you're not first, you're last. So bottom line, you want a house, right? You need to prepare. That's right now. It's time when you, unfortunately or luckily, you will need to have a conversation. You need to have a clear vision what you want, and if it is something that you want to do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like, even when you said contingencies, right? For the viewers that don't know what contingencies are, Contingencies are just things that are placed into a contract in order to protect you as the buyer, to protect your earnest money, right? So when you're structuring a contract, you have to give up what's called earnest money. That earnest money is the very first thing that you give up once you're under contract or once the sellers agree to sell you the home. And that's really part of your closing costs, that's part of your down payment, but your contingencies in the contract protect your earnest money. So if somebody decides to walk away from a transaction, they would lean on their contingencies to walk away. You can still walk away if you have no contingencies, but
you'll the contract, there's if there is a will, there's a way. I don't want to bring it up, but yes, there are so many things. But bottom line, yes, you show the seller that you are extremely serious and you're ready to do pretty much a lot to show them how serious you are. Sometimes it's not only about the price, and I want to make it clear. It's also about the terms of the contract.
Of course.
And there's so many things that we need to consider. And sometimes just the seller just choose another offer just because, just because, right?
Yeah.
But
terms of contract is huge, and even I like how you said you have to take a few steps ahead, right? So what does that mean to take like the way that I see it is you have to analyze the deal. What shocks me is people that put contracts together, they don't even see comps. Real estate agents don't sit down with a lot of their buyers and say, hey, these are the comparables in the area. So you have to know what's sold in the last 30, 60, 90 days. Absolutely. You have to run those comparables because you know what the house is going to appraise for, right? Another step ahead is not just getting fully pre-approved, but going through underwriting, 100%. Right? Which means that, hey, your loan has been reviewed by an underwriter, and an underwriter was going to decline or approve the loan. Pre-qualifications, I personally think should be illegal. Pre-approvals, majority of anyone can do a pre-approval, but to get your loan fully underwritten approved, that's when you know, okay, as a buyer that's getting a home loan, I have the ability to close my loan in 21 days or sooner, right? And that helps you compete. If the seller is moving, if there's a dramatic shift in their life, that's a big factor. So taking a few steps ahead, doing several things that way when you're presenting your offer, you have all your facts and you're able to really put your best foot forward from a negotiation standpoint and from a personal, right? Because you don't want to put an offer on a house. Let's say you're competing, okay, example, listing agent, realtor that's selling a home is putting up a home on the market, and they have 5 offers. They see there's an offer here for $300,000 over what they're asking. Majority of the time, if it's that much higher and there are contingencies in place, right, that listing agent may say, just because the offer is $300,000 more, it doesn't mean that's what my sellers are going to receive. Why? Well, because the appraisal is going to kick in. Someone's going to come out from the bank, the mortgage company, a third-party company that's called an appraiser, and they'll actually go out and give us the true value of the home, which is a big deal, right?
One more thing that I want to mention to get back to your question. First of all, where I would start to have a simple conversation with the buyer, so set up the right expectations. You're not going to overpromise and excuse me, and over-deliver. For 20 minutes, you will tell them exactly what's going on in the market, let's say in a King County.
An update, all that jazz.
Exactly. What do we need to do? We need to get approval, not just approval. We need to go through underwriter, and this is how we're going to do it. This is a market comparable analysis. This is what was sold in 30, 60 days. And we had the deal with you, and I remember we got the house for Ryan and Kelsey just because you were communicating with a listing agent, and they lost the previous, they get back on the market just because the finance failed. And the guy told me, you guys got this deal just because I had a sweet conversation with Taras. I trust him. So this is what I want to say. That's how important to work with the expert in the area, with someone who you can trust and someone who have great communication skills, someone who's going to pick up the phone at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, and going to step up in a game no matter what. There's a lot of compromises, I think,
in our business.
In our business, what I personally went through. If you want to be top performance, if you want to be the best, this is something that I work with, and this is my confession. I don't believe in balance. I think in the beginning, at least, you're gonna go all over. You're gonna be very tough on yourself, and this is probably the way how it should be. If you want to have balance, probably real estate industry not for you. Especially if you represent the buyer or the listing agent, because you cannot. You just simply.
You have to do whatever.
100%. You're in. You're in. Bottom line.
So when it comes to balance, like, this is my mentality on balance. People that say, hey, you need to have a balanced life, right? You have to do X, Y, and Z. I personally don't believe that ever existed or will ever exist when it comes to balance. So my thought process behind balance is versus balance seasons, right? There are seasons in your life. You will not have a balanced life when you start a new career or when you start a new job or you're working with a new employee or if you are going out and let's say you start a company. Why? Because you're learning new skills, you're learning new crafts. You need to be able to acclimate to the community that you're in order for you to perform at the level that you want to perform,
100%.
right? I don't believe. Now, let's say you've been in one business for 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, right? Almost a full decade. Then afterwards, when it comes to, your craft, you're able to adjust and shift when it comes to what you do and how you do it, right? Like I will take calls in the evenings. At the same time, I don't work 80 hours a week like I used to because I have a team, right? So you get to the point once you get that knowledge to where you're like, hey, now I need to give that knowledge and that expertise to somebody that's able to kind of like do your job, to be able to help and assist when it comes to basic items, basic tasks, to take things off your plate, stuff like that. Same thing. If you are an engineer and you're going to school, talk to me about balance. You got no balance. All you're doing is studying. All you're doing is trying to figure out, hey, how do I get that degree? So there's seasons in life, phases in life for everything. There is a time to play. There is a time to work, right? But I don't believe that for 30, 40 years, there is what's called a balanced, perfect life. That's phony. That's baloney. Maybe there is for some people. They say, hey, I have a perfect, balanced life. My thing is, all right, cool. Now, do I want the life that you have today? Do I want to be driving the car that you're driving? I personally want to be living in the home that you're living? Do I want to have the relationship that you have with your spouse, right? Do I want the life that you have from a financial, business, spiritual, personal, physical standpoint, right? Like, talk to me about balance. If you have a busy life and you have 2 kids like I do, I have 2 little kids, and I want to spend time at the gym and I want to diet and I want to focus on myself, I cannot start my day at 7 o'clock. It would be impossible for me to start my day at 7 p.m. Why? Because then I would be neglecting my family, and that's against my morals, against my values. So, okay, I got to get up at 4:30 or 5. Then I can get that little bit of reading time. I get that personal time. I get that spiritual time that I can spend time with the Lord. I'm able to take a step back and say, okay, now I get I'm going to delegate 2, 3 days, 4 days out of the week to read this book. Now, is that a balanced, healthy life? Well, Darius, you're sleeping for 6 hours a day. Is that healthy? Is that balance? I don't believe in balance. I think balance is a myth. Balance is a joke. There's seasons and phases for everything. Especially like once again, even relationally, I want to say when I met my wife, I spent a lot of time with her. Did I have much balance on me personally working on myself? No, right? So it's I don't believe in balance. So I'm right there with you.
It's all about priorities.
Yeah.
What you're trying to accomplish,
Yeah.
and also if you're ready to pay the price.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like pessimistic but
Yeah.
the bottom line, there is a price behind where you live, what kind of car you drive, and your lifestyle.
Yeah.
If I want to live my life, I live my life in my own terms.
Yeah.
Whatever I ask, universe, God, I have it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in luck.
Yeah.
I believe we create our own luck.
Yeah.
I don't believe in circumstances. I believe you can choose, you can fail,
Yeah.
you can
As long as you fall forward, right?
Exactly.
So you're 2, 3 steps
in
ahead.
real estate, what I notice, the faster you move forward,
Yeah.
then what you're going to succeed. And when I see the one person who succeeds faster, I know they just felt more often, just like me.
Yeah.
I didn't have I didn't get in real estate. It was not easy for me. I want to make it clear.
Yeah, well,
growth
comes,
probably as for many real estate agents, but it was tough.
Yeah,
and what I really like, you're growing. You
Yeah.
see, it's not like this is the industry where you can grow emotionally, spiritually, and this is like you start to think in completely different level.
Yeah.
And after, of course, you're doing it for money as well, right? But
Yeah.
it's not something that's drive you anymore, you know,
Correct, yeah.
because you think in a completely different thing, and that's why it's important to stay in a community.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about real estate. You know, we all supporting each other. We all have the bigger vision.
Yeah.
We see something important.
Yeah.
Big why. Why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
My answer probably in my case because that's who I am.
Yeah.
I do it because I cannot not do it.
Yeah, so I want to ask you this, because I know last month you did a lot of goal setting, vision casting, stuff like that. What's your plan? Because again, you're successful in real estate. You're going to keep growing in real estate. You're going to keep helping families. I know you're going to continuously build your team. But what's your 5-year vision? Like, where do you see, like, Gina, who you are today, where do you see yourself in 5 years? In real estate, in business, on a personal level? Who do you want to be in the next 5 years?
It's a great question. Well, as far as the 5-year vision plan, of course, I want to be in a position when I don't need to think about money anymore.
Yep.
So it's a passive income. Yeah. And I see tremendous opportunity in real estate, especially now. I think it's going to be such a season that might not happen in the nearest future, next couple of years. It's going to be a lot of opportunities right now. You just need to see them. You just need to grab them. Yeah. So I'm going to build my portfolio.
Act fast, right?
Act fast. Yeah. No fear. And you need to be able to take risk. Yeah. Big risk, big rewards. Yeah. You just need to go for it. So I see that I'm going to keep buying properties and keep renting them and all over the United States. Of course, I'm going to be involved and help families, you know, to buy and sell real estate. But probably I don't, on the long run, I don't think I'm going to keep doing it in a level as I used to do it in 2021 and 2022 because it's very demanding. And we spoke with you about it a couple minutes ago. I'm a big fan of fitness, right? I used to be a personal trainer. Right now I'm going to the hot yoga, CrossFit. And what I really like and what inspires me, you can go, there's a limit how far you can go by yourself. Yeah. You need to have people behind you who are going to push you, who are going to help you, who are going to help to grow the business, who are going to bring your team, your vision, their vision, and you guys kind of going to help each other. So you can go so far by yourself.
Only so far.
The next step is definitely going to create a team, you know, and help other people to succeed because I believe it's a completely different reward. If you learn something, share it. I believe you need to give back, pay back. Yeah. I was in a position when many people helped me. Yeah. And I feel like I have to pay back.
Yeah, which is a big deal. You have to help back, especially
otherwise you can't be selfish.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that as well. You have to give back, and from like I want to say a personal standpoint, when it comes to like being around the right people, it's invaluable, right? The study of you are the 5 closest people that you know. You want me to know as a stat. You want me to know who you are before even meeting you. Show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll tell you exactly who you are before meeting you, right? Which is a big deal. So being around the right people, the right culture. A lot of people don't know this, but I am personally also coached on a higher level when it comes to business, mortgage, and all that jazz. That's why, right, my team operates the way that it does, you know, does the business that it does. And I'm a huge believer when it comes to coaching. Huge believer to finding someone that does much better than what you're doing right now from a growth standpoint, is able to coach you, educate you, guide you. And I get my butt kicked by my coach, right? I literally, if I don't do what I have to do week over week and submit my homework to him, even though I run a business, you know, work for myself. No, I have a coach. I have somebody that kicks my butt, you know, and if I don't give him my homework or do the task that he assigns, I have consequences. I have things that I have to do from I want to say from a discipline standpoint for myself, right? A big thing too. One thing I think over the last, I want to say 6 to 8 months that I've personally been focusing on is evaluating what I do and how I personally punish myself for things that I don't want to have from a character trait, right? So let me give you an example. Last month, before Christmas, I had a big event, big meeting. Right now, we're rehabbing our floors at our house, so we're not living at home. Insurance gave us a hotel for a couple of weeks. Yeah, so then we're now. No, it is what it is, right? Rehabbing the floors, and insurance is covering it, so I'm not too worried about that. But they gave us a hotel to stay for a couple of weeks, and afterwards, I transitioned over to our in-laws. But we were in the hotel at that time, and I had this big meeting. So 2 kids, this and that. So I had my suit prepped, everything was ready the day before. Mm-hmm. Well, an hour and a half before, no, it was an hour before my meeting, I had to go and prep and get some food, get a couple of things, make sure I had everything ready and set on schedule. Then when I went 30 minutes before the meeting to change, I realized I forgot my dress shirt, a dress shirt. No kidding. So I have my 3-piece suit, right? But I have no dress shirt. And we're in Issaquah. And I'm sitting there looking up, like my wife's like on Google with me. I'm there. Is there a place where Nothing. So literally I had to go and I found like a cheap dress shirt at Target that I had to take that wasn't tailored. I like to have my stuff tailored. That wasn't tailored. Put that on, and then afterwards get into my suit and go do the event. I came 10 minutes late to the event, which was, for them it was okay because they were still doing their transition, but for me that was unacceptable. So for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that event, that was sloppy. And I don't tolerate sloppiness. Doesn't matter if we're in transition, if we're moving. I told myself I was prepped, I was prepared, and I wasn't prepared, right? So then I had it top of mind of like, hey, what do I need to do personally to like punish myself? Like, I made a mistake. This is a big mistake. I have to be uncomfortable.
You're so hard on yourself. No.
It's what you. Well, I personally do not tolerate sloppiness. So you felt like you need to punish yourself. So I was like, all right. So what am I gonna do? What's gonna hurt the most for me personally? And then I was thinking about it. It kind of went out of my mind. And then I started looking for a new car, and I found this truck in Oregon. Beautiful truck, a little over $50,000. It was a Denali. I was like, wow, this is the car that I want. I've been looking for a car like this for a couple of months now, and this is fantastic. Talked to my wife, got sitters ready. I was going to drive out. It was a 5-hour drive. I was going to go there, trade in my current truck, and get this new truck, right? Called the bank. They were going to wire funds the next morning, Saturday morning, so I had to get everything structured with the bank. We were all ready to go. And then my wife and I talked about it some more, and we're like, cool. And then I'm laying in bed, and thought comes to me: you never actually punish yourself for missing that event. It's a horrible
story. I'm sorry, I couldn't. Yeah. Wouldn't do it to myself.
Then I made a decision that night. I was like, all right, I have the truck that I want for the price that I want. Everything is set and done. That's going to be my punishment. I'm not going to go buy that truck.
Wow.
So I emailed my bank in the morning, don't wire the funds. I emailed the sales guy. He was a little confused, whatever. I emailed him and said, hey, I'm actually not going to go through with this purchase, but thank you so much for all your hard work and all that jazz. And I told myself I'm going to continue driving a car that I'm driving because I want a new car. I've had the same car for like 5-6 years until I want to say July or August of this year, so 6 months. Plus, I have a couple of things that I'm doing with the gym, things on the diet that I did after that truck delay purchase for a week and a half. That was brutal. Like, it wasn't good. But that was my punishment for being sloppy, right? It's a character thing. So on a macro scale, like you were saying, hey, you need to know what you're doing. You have to have that motivation. You have to have the drive. You have to have the coaching, the leadership, all that good jazz. I'm 100% with you. But on top of that, I think being able to analyze yourself and say, hey, what do I need to do to work on myself to make sure that I'm better, that I'm at a higher level when it comes to where I want to be, and motivate and you push yourself, right? Which is fantastic.
Something that I want to share as far as the coaching. Of course, this is something that I thought.
Yeah.
I'm a product of many people influence. And when I just joined the business, and I used to work just by an accident, I find the guy. He is a top producer in value office. I worked with him for 2 years.
2 years.
I'm blessed that I met him because he set up the high standard.
Yeah.
And I think it's changed a lot, and it's you must find the leader or someone who you want to become on the long run.
Yeah.
You just mimic what they're doing. And of course, I think if I wouldn't be in such a circumstances with people who were successful or have the vision, and I think what is really critical, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
I think 80% it's a mindset. What you think, you become.
Yeah.
If but you need to believe in it. A true believer in affirmation. Back to the real estate, I had the vision of myself 5 years ago. I didn't know how it's gonna happen. I didn't know much, but I knew I'm gonna become someone.
Yeah.
That's as far as the mentors, 100%. Yeah. It's extremely crucial and important.
Yes, it is. Well, I know your business is going to continue to grow because you're doing great things. You're impacting the market in great ways. Now, I want to let everybody know, if you're looking for a really, really, really good real estate agent that's experienced, that's a phenomenal negotiator, I want you to reach out to Gina. Her contact information will be here at the end of this video. Reach out to her, have a consultation, take a second opinion. When you're making one of the largest financial purchases of your life, I believe it's invaluable. Go and get a second opinion from somebody else that has done what you're currently trying to do, and also that's helped many families when it comes to what you want to do right now, and that understands the process at a higher level of expertise. Gina, is there anything else that you want to say to the audience? I want to say before we wrap up.
I want to thank you, all of the family who help and pass, who support me and who believe in me, and I just so blessed, and just thank you.
Yes, perfect. We'll see you guys on the next one.